So in this video, I'm talking about how to look more of a pro when hitting the punch bag. Now, it goes without saying, but before you really start having good workouts on the punch bag, you want to make sure your technique is good. So make sure you're doing your classes at your gym, make sure you've got a coach who's making sure you've got good, correct technique. So, the first one I'm going to talk about is making sure, no matter what you do, if you're doing boxing, MMA or Thai boxing, you've got some sort of timer set up. So how long you're doing it for. The best way to find this out is your rounds, what you're doing for your sport. That's what I like to do. So I do predominantly MMA, so whenever I'm hitting the punch bag, I do 3 5-minute rounds. Now, if you are a bit of a beginner and you're not really fighting yet or anything like that, you're doing it more, say, for fitness, then set up just 3 3-minute rounds and then go from there. Maybe you can end up making the rounds longer and shorter rest periods, and you could work on different things like that, but definitely set yourself a purpose. That is the first one. And now we've got the technique and we've got the timer set up. The next thing you want to do, again, unless you're doing it for fitness or doing a certain thing for a purpose, but if you're just literally just hitting a heavy bag, make sure you're trying to set up realistic combinations, yeah? So when you start hitting a heavy bag, for example, you're not going to do, say, 3 rear hooks like yeah? Now, doing things like that is a good workout, and I'll even incorporate some of that sort of thing in my actual workouts as well. But if you're just doing a bit of a freestyle on a heavy bag, you want to make sure you're doing nice, decent combinations, yeah? You wouldn't just say, like I said, just do 10 kicks off the back leg. That is a good way, like I said, to build up your kicks, a good workout, but you don't necessarily look professional on the bag. You want to try and make sure you're doing realistic combinations what flow well. If you've got any troubles with that and you're not sure what combinations to throw, then make sure you are subscribed to my channel, because I'm always putting out videos on different combinations. So you can always research combinations on YouTube and then just follow them combinations and keep it nice and simple. Number 3 is make sure you're hitting a bag at the correct height, yeah? You always want to try and make sure you're punching to your head height. It's no good, similar to what I was saying about the realistic combinations, it's no good just throwing punches, even if you keep your hands up, but you're just being lazy and just throwing body punches all the time. That's not necessarily realistic. Most punches start off from the head and then they might end with a body punch. So it is even the same with the kicking. If you're going to kick low, make sure you're kicking low. Make sure you're visualising, imagining you're kicking the fire. Make sure it's obvious where your kicks are going. So the kick's going up to the body. Oh, come up and push kick to the face. Elbows up nice and high, yeah? Punching to your head height. Now, I have trouble with my, a lot of beginners with this, so what I do is I get one of these bands when they're working on the punch bag. I put it round the punch bag up to more or less their head height. Now, if you know you're fighting someone taller than you, just say you've got a fight coming up, and you're not even a beginner and you're good at keeping your hands up, you can always use this to put at the height of the person who you think you could be fighting, because that's a good way of making sure you're always throwing up to their head height. So, now I've got a visual target, I can make sure my hands are up nice and high, yeah? Fighting someone a little bit taller than me, so I need to make sure my hands are up nice and high. So that's just a little tip for you to help if you do find you're struggling or you'll see someone else who is struggling with punch up to their head height. This next tip I believe is the only negative thing really to having a punch bag is sometimes you massively neglect your defence. Yeah, everything's offense, everything's always punching on the punch bag. I'm guilty for it, everyone's guilty for it. They're always punching and they forget about practising their defence, yeah? So every now and again, in your realistic combinations you are doing, making sure you're adding a bit of defence in there. Don't just make it all offence and pick up. Not necessarily pick up a bad habit, but you're just not practising your defence, yeah? Also you're practising when you're doing the heavy bag, it's just offence. So if you're practising your defence as well, you're practising all round being an all round better fighter. Just like I said about the defence thing, this one can be a little bit similar, but you don't want to get into that habit of just standing in front of the punch bag, even if you are practising your defence, literally just in front of the punch bag. You want to practice coming in attacking and coming out just at a distance. So if it was like a realistic opponent, they're not going to be able to hit you back. So if you're in, boom, 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 you may block and then step out. So you're stepping out of way. Then you can work your way in again. And then stepping out of range. So you're purposely out the firing line. And as well, if you're practising your footwork and your circling, you can find, as you're circling in, that's a way you can creep in to get back into range. So it's good for practising your footwork as well. So as you're coming in, jab, cross, and then I'm out, yeah? I'm out of my distance. And I'll complete my arm, work my way back in. And now, yeah, it's a good little way of just remembering to make sure you're coming in and out, making it more realistic. You don't just want to stand in front of the bag and tee off. Again, there's always a time and a place for that. Like when I'm working with people, if I'm working on the heavy bag, I know if I've got like 20 seconds left or 30 seconds left, I might just be, that's it, standing in front of the bag, going to town, yeah? This is where the unrealistic combinations do come into it. So it is good every now and again, like especially when I say last 10 seconds, I'm just going to be going full pelt on the bag, yeah? So, these tips, like I say, you can break them a bit, but don't always do it. Most of the 90% of it, you need to be looking like a pro, coming in and out, make sure you're blocking, you're defending, you're hitting all correct heights. So this one really bugs me, because to me it just shows that you're getting tired and you're looking for an excuse to sort of stop. So every now and again, you'll be hitting the bag, especially if you've got a light bag. Unfortunately, these bags are quite heavy, and the bag will be swinging. You'll be working the bag, it'll be swinging. You'll walk up to it, you'll stop it, and then you start again. And I think, why did I do that? Why did I stop it? Just work with it, yeah? The bag's swinging, step to the side of it, move round a bit. Throw the kick, throw the punch, work with the bag. It's moving, yeah? You can always slow the bag down as well. And that easy tip for even if it's really swinging, you can always just sat down with a hard push kick, yeah? Stop the bag. Like I said, these bags are really heavy. And I managed to just stop that more or less dead there. And look, you're back to working with it. But if the bag is swinging a lot, like I said, just work with it. Practice your footwork. Use it as an excuse to move in and out. Yeah, moving around the bag. Yeah, just because it's swinging, don't do this. Stop halfway through the round, stop the bag, and then start striking again. Because that is really not realistic at all. Yeah? And I just think it's an excuse when you're getting tired to just have that little bit of a rest. Now, if you're fighting, or you're looking to fight, the timer you've set up for them rounds that you're fighting on, in between it, you're not allowed to get tired, yeah? You can't get tired in between the rounds, and if you are tired, then just fake it. Keep your hands up, keep your distance, move around, practice some of your defense, get your breath back, and then work your way back in. Don't use it as an excuse to stop the bag, it just don't look good. Right, little bonus tip for you. So, this is just, like I said, we want to look like we're professionals on the bag now, yeah? Now, obviously, you're going to be breathing when you're hitting anyway, but making sure that you are really giving it some, making sure you're breathing in, like that sort of key eye thing that what boxers do. Whether you've got whether you've got a shout, you've got whatever you're doing, just make sure you're doing it, yeah? You look a lot more professional. I mean, what looks better? Doing it like that, or yeah, just that breathing will really help you. It will help it, trust me, it just helps with everything. It helps with the power, helps take your stomach up, and it makes you look more vicious and more better on the punch bag, like you know what you're doing, and you'll start getting more confident in yourself. Just makes it so much more better. So, I weren't going to add that one in, but I think it's a good little bonus tip for it. So make sure you're practicing all these, and you'll definitely look a lot better on the punch bag. I made an old video before about working on the punch bag. I think I had similar tips in this one, but it's always good to refresh and go over things. I know I've got some fresh tips in this one, but I did mention some old ones before. But anyway, go check out this video over here, and I'll see you all next time.